Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. So LinkedIn doesn't want to do it. Okay, so remove. That's fine. I think we're live though.
Hi.
Hey. Let's see. Save changes. That's fine. You guys know at the beginning of every video, we always have like those little technical inserts. No worries though, right? I'll figure out one day how not to have those. But until then, I'm so excited because I have one of my fave divas, Miss Jalyn Isley, on this call with us, on this live stream, should I say. And before I even like go into all the fabulous details about this fabulous diva, I'm going to share my personal story. So I have to do that. Oh, here, cool. I found the live. Okay, so I think, let's see, did I mute it? Yeah, boom. Okay, so I need it to play. All right. Oh, I see Dr. Katia on the call. Hey, Diva. And I see Bridget on the call. Hey, Diva. And I see Tynesha has joined as well, too. That is our newest associate director of events. So excited to see her on this call as well. Hi, Sandra. So nice to see all of you fabulous divas. But what I was going to say is I have to share my personal story about Jalyn. So first off, Jalyn and I met through some mutual friends years ago, and then we were part of a mastermind group because we love our masterminds.
Definitely do.
And one of the things I had some goals that I really wanted to accomplish, and Jalyn was referred to me by one of those mutual friends. And she was like, Jalyn does coaching. So if you're looking for a coach, Jalyn would be a good person. And I was like, okay, I'll call her up. Right. But I had never like really had like that one-on-one kind of talk with Jalyn at that point. But if any of you guys know, hey, Tammy's one of our board members. You guys, many of you have met our wonderful Tammy Dunlap, but you may not know she's also on the governing board of Women on the Rise as well, too. So happy to have that fabulous diva here as well. But anyhow, so in 2010, I had lost my mother to pancreatic cancer, right? And in 2014, I had lost my father to esophageal cancer. In 2015, I lost my mentor to Alzheimer's. And in 2000 and let's see, I guess it was kind of like mid 2015, I was really stressed with my job and I could not get anywhere in what I was dealing with. I couldn't get anyone to really help me. And then plus my relationship was not great either. So I decided to go ahead and seek out therapy. And I remember coming to sessions after sessions, and mind you, it was like a group therapy session. I had mentioned to the other ladies, I was like, listen, I'm not coming back next week without like complaining about what's going on in my professional life. Like I'm going to start making some changes. And so I said I was going to hire a coach. So I called Jalyn. And I said, listen, this is what's happening. I feel like a lot of the personal baggage that I have is kind of affecting the momentum in my career. And then I also feel like my manager isn't listening to me and the problems that I'm having in my sales territory. And so Jalyn, in her HR executive type of way and coach way, really helped me to put together a plan that I was able to execute. And before you know it, listen, y'all girl was number one in the entire Southeast region within my company. Okay. And so I think when I started doing well within the business, I also started feeling better about myself in general, right? So when you feel like you're really accomplished in your work, your spirit is completely lifted. So everything just started to turn around. And then eventually I shared with her my ideas for Women on the Rise, and she coached me through that process as well too. So you guys, Women on the Rise might not be around if Jalyn had not come into my life, you guys. Okay, so we have to give her some kind of trophy for her and helping me to be able to accomplish that. And then I think also some of the goals that I had shared with you at that time too was that I really wanted to work on my physical fitness. And so I started putting together some efforts to do that. And if any of y'all knew me from early 2016, y'all know, listen, turning heads. Okay. So when you have a coach to be able to help you to really stay tuned and focus on your goals, it really makes a big difference. So I want to give Jalyn that credit, but I have to do that. Yes, ma'am. But how are you doing this evening, darling?
I'm doing well, and I appreciate all the credit you just gave me. But, you know, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but it really is the person who is ready and willing for change. And that's all the difference. So we're gonna talk about that in a little while, but I'm doing really well. Just wrapped up my work day and kissed my son before I came in here and joined you all. Looking forward to engaging and talking and helping people get on the right path.
Absolutely. So let me do a little housekeeping as well, too. So if any of you have any questions at all during this live stream broadcast, please be sure to post your questions in the comments and we'll be sure to answer those throughout the broadcast. Okay. So please do that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and read Jalyn's bio just in case you guys don't know all the fabulousness about this diva. Okay. So Jalyn Isley is an author and success coach who is dedicated to helping millennials turn their personal and professional goals into realities by teaching them how to become the CEO of their lives. Her workshops and resources include topics such as driving the results, visioning, planning, and career success. In 2018, she released her first book, The Fruit of the Spirit, which offers 9 keys to achieving purposes and enjoying life along the way. Jalyn has over 12 years of experience in career and leadership development as an HR professional. She currently leads diversity and belonging, I like that, at a FinTech startup. She earned her bachelor's degree in industrial and labor relations from Cornell University, an Ivy Leaguer, and her master's degree in human resources from Rollins College. Jalyn lives in Sanford, Florida with her family and is a new mom to a beautiful baby boy, Mr. Jaden.
That's my baby.
So you can connect with her at jalynisley.com on Facebook and Instagram, but we'll get to all of that later as well, too. But I just had to give you a nice, warm welcome, Diva, because you are amazing at everything that you do. And I'm so thankful to have you on this call because, again, like I said, you have been very instrumental in my success, and I just wanted to make sure I shared that, right? So let's jump in. I'm going to tell you this. So all the time I have people ask me about getting a coach, right? Mm-hmm. And then they'll also ask the question about, okay, there's the life coach, there's the business coach. I just know I have some goals that I need to accomplish, or I have some problems focusing on what I need to do. So where do you fit in within your coaching style, Jalyn?
Yeah, you know, my coaching style is a bit of a blend. You know, I don't necessarily believe in separating work and life. I'm more of a work-life flow type of person as opposed to work-life balance. And so whenever I'm coaching a client, whatever they're trying to accomplish, whether it's their personal goals or whether it's their business goals, there's normally some aspect of your health, your finances, your career, all of that plays a role into how you're going about your day and going about achieving these goals. So my coaching style, I want to help you get clarity and direction on your next steps. But oftentimes it takes a bit to unpack what else is going on in your life to allow you to actually move forward as opposed to remaining blocked.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, let me ask you this. Typical clients that have come to you over the years, what are they typically looking for?
Typically looking for career success. They're
Yeah.
looking for career success. And the reason why I talk about becoming the CEO of your life is because the buck stops with you regardless of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And if it's your career, then yeah, let's talk about how you become the CEO of your career so that you can really drive for those results, and you're not dependent on someone else to create success for you.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, let me ask you a question. How big of a role does structure play in your life, and then also how you lead your clients? Because let me tell you guys, when Jalyn kind of goes over her goals and so forth, it's written out so nicely. It's like, I wake up at 6 a.m. I do my meditations. I write this down. I then make sure I have my meal prep together. I mean, it's like, it's so structured. I'm like, that's why I feel all over the place in the morning. How do you keep that level of focus, right? In order to do what it is that you do and to be successful at what you're at? Because let me tell you guys, Jalyn doesn't say it as much publicly, but in her professional career, this woman has been extremely successful at such a young age. I think even before the age of 30, I'm not going to tell you, we're not going to talk about how much she makes, but before the age of 30, she was doing darn well. And I was like, okay, I see you. And then on top of that, her financial goals, she is very strict and serious about that. Because I remember knowing like how well she was doing in her career. And I'm sorry to share this, girl, but I have to do it because I'm your friend. But she was still driving the same car that she had for a very long time. And I'm assuming it's because it was paid for, right? And so she was like, there is no reason to buy another car, because until these wheels are ready to fall off, I'm going to keep riding. Like, that's how Jalyn operates, right? And I love it, because that's the same way that we each need to operate if we truly want to gain wealth, right? So, okay, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I don't play around with my money. You're not wrong. That is really important to me. And I'm going to digress for just a moment, but not just because I like having money, but I am so committed to financial literacy and building generational wealth. You know, you've got to, you plan your life accordingly, which leads me to answering your question on the structure. It really starts with your values. You know, I know you see my list and everything laid out, and times and set appointments, and it's like a checklist, boom, 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 every morning. But honestly, my values are what drive the structure that I have. And so some of my values include love of learning, and they also include self-excellence and being a good steward of your resources and things like that. So I create structures that support my values, and it's a lot easier to stick to a structure or stick to a framework because it's internally aligned with what you're passionate about. So that's where I would start if you're trying to create something. Is that me echoing?
No, I think you're good.
Okay.
And I want to say hi to some people that have joined us here. I see Diva Amber Nicole in the house. We have Miss Nikki. We have Courtney Shaw in the house. April Daniel. Hey, hey, hey. We have Chastity from Jacksonville. We have Kim Dante, Shannon. We have Rose in the house. We have so many fabulous people. And then we have Jared Thompson, who says, Cornell Bush brought us here. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and being a part of this live broadcast. Well, you know what? As we're talking about structure as well, too, Jalyn, you are a new mom. And I know oftentimes with many moms who are, one, maybe working a full-time job, maybe trying to juggle a side hustle as well, and then also trying to stay present for our children, right? How have you been able to successfully manage that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm able to say I successfully managed it just yet.
You have, Diva, you have.
Yeah. But I will say that structure plays a key role in that as well. And I try to keep my structure simplified, or at least it's simple to me. May not be simple to others, but it's simple to me. You need a simple way of getting things done. One of the easiest ways for me to stay on top of everything is scheduling everything out. I put everything that's important to me on my calendar. I even put on my calendar, call Arlene, and see how she's doing. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And so you don't have to create these complicated frameworks in order to get things done. The more simple it is, the easier it is to execute. And if it's just as simple as making sure something goes on your calendar so that you don't forget and you're able to manage everything that makes up your entire life because it's right in front of you, then that's the route you should take. Does that make sense?
It does. And let me go back for a second, because the one thing that I know about you is you are the app queen. Okay. So tell me, when you say that you're scheduling everything, what are you scheduling everything on?
Yep. It is a combination of my calendar, my iPhone calendar, and then this app called Day One. And so Day One allows you to, I'm sorry, Opus One. Opus One allows you to.
Opus One?
OPUS, Opus One, yes.
Okay, Opus One, okay.
And it allows you to plan for your year and then break that down into smaller chunks. And then you can actually export those tasks to your calendar. So
wow.
you do a whole lot of managing multiple apps or multiple products and services to really get control over your life.
I love it. I haven't heard of that one. So you guys, Opus One helps you to break down your goals and then I guess assign those tasks onto your calendar. So that's pretty awesome. I love that. And then let's talk about when you sit down and actually put these things on your calendar. Do you have one day out of the week that you really focus on doing this? Is it a nightly ritual to make sure that your calendar is updated? When do you go about doing that?
That's a really great question, because you have to have some consistency in managing that. Otherwise, it just kind of falls apart. So every day at 5:30, as I'm wrapping up one of my mini jobs, I literally have planned for your next day. And it takes 5 minutes to review your calendar for the next day and make sure all of the important things are on it, including any tasks that you want to accomplish. And then every Sunday, I'm looking at my entire week and deciding where I'm going to focus my effort and energy. And then also being very realistic with yourself as well. So I know that when I am planning for working with a client, or if I am trying to gear up for my next book, I know I'm doing that on Saturdays between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's the best time that I can actually dedicate to that. So I'm proactively blocking that stuff off to ensure that I don't miss anything that's important and that I don't overbook or overschedule or overburden myself.
Absolutely. And I remember when we were working together, that was key as well. On Sundays, we actually had our coaching sessions. And then I made sure that after that, it was the rest of that time was just planning out the rest of the week. So I knew what clients I was going to be visiting every single day, what my goals were going to be with those clients. And as soon as I started mapping that into my calendar and just kind of working that plan is when I really started to see true success. So you definitely helped a lot with that. Another thing that was interesting too, when I was working with you and coaching, as I was developing Women on the Rise, and I find a lot of people struggle with this as well too, when you have to quickly articulate what it is that you do, right? Create that elevator speech and be able to say it like it just rolls off of your tongue, essentially. You worked with me on that because I remember you said, okay, so what is it that you do? What is it that Women on the Rise, or I think at that time was Women on the Move, is all about? And I said probably 10 or 20 different things. You're like, okay, so we're going to work on that. Listen, we're gonna condense that. We're gonna work on that. And so one of the projects that I remember you gave to me was I was to script out exactly what it was that I wanted to say, right? And then in our next session, we went over that and you gave some feedback. I was able to make some edits and get it together. And then my next assignment in regards to that particular goal was I had to continue to rehearse it. And so I found myself in the mirror reading this thing over and over and over again until now, I can clearly share the value statement of Women on the Rise without hesitation. And I find that I meet a lot of individuals who have businesses or have organizations that are unable to quickly articulate what it is that they do. Mm-hmm. And so I typically mention, you need to call Jalyn. Because you're the person who will help them get it together. Absolutely. And I mean, and I will tell you guys this as well too. I've had Jalyn as my coach. I've worked with some other amazing coaches as well. I tell you, look to see who fits right with who you are. And there was a period in my life after I lost my mother, I had hired a life coach, and it was a completely different relationship that I had with her than it was with Jalyn. I think the life coach that I worked with at that time just helped me to kind of get out of a rut that I was in. And Jalyn helped me to smash my goals, right? And I think at this point and where I'm at in my life, it's all about smashing them goals, right? And many of you are probably in that same position, but you really just have to seek out, again, who aligns best with you. And then also, make sure you get references for these coaches. I'm sitting here telling you this is an amazing person to work with, right? That's a pretty good reference. If I say so myself. So, but you want to make sure, because when I go onto my Facebook page, there's like tens and thousands, I would say, of people who are coaches nowadays. And I get lots of ads that just stream my page. And I'm sure many of them are excellent coaches. But it's really important that you have an understanding of who that person is and are able to speak to someone who's been able to have success with that particular coach. I think that's really important. Now, Jalyn did mention something at the beginning that I think was really key. And that was when you're working with a coach, right? Making sure that you're ready. Mm-hmm. Ready to really do this work. So can you talk about that, Jalyn?
Yeah, definitely. So any coach worth their salt is going to help you create clarity and simplify the process for accomplishing your results. Like that in a nutshell, they are not going to add complexity to your life. They're going to help you narrow things down, reframe, refocus, and then take that next step. But to Arlene's, just as Arlene mentioned, you have to be ready for that. And oftentimes we say that we're ready for change, but we don't want to let go of some of the things that are holding us back. We don't really want to face it, even if it's something as simple as your bad attitude. You're not ready to face or take accountability for what you're contributing to the experience that you have right now. And so when you are ready to take accountability, when you are done thinking about who's blocking you or who's holding you back or what circumstances are preventing you from moving forward, you're probably in a good place to talk through that with a coach and then set up some clear goals, as well as take that first step. Taking that first step is so key. And whenever I'm working with a client, we're going to talk about your values. We're going to talk about your strengths, because when you use your strengths, you know that you're able to really smash those goals. And we know what Arlene's strengths are, and that's what makes her so successful in what she's doing today. But we'll start there, and then we'll start to break things down until the point where we get to that action item. And that can be really challenging for people, because then it's like, oh, I've got the kids. Oh, I need to cook dinner. Oh, I need to take a nap, or whatever it is. And you've got to be committed to making that your top priority and allowing everything else to align and support what you're actually trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if any of you guys have a coach or have worked with a coach, can you just post in the comments, like do a little hand raise, let us know. Definitely curious about it. And what I'll tell you guys too is even coaches have coaches, right? And I think it's really important that we understand that. And that's a good question sometimes too, to ask a coach, who's your coach? But it's really important that we recognize that we don't know everything. And I think that was one of the most humbling things that I was able to finally admit to myself, because there was a period of time when I had my first business that they had this whole fake it till you make it syndrome, as I'll go ahead and call it, that was going around. And you just had to always act like you had it together, regardless if you did or not. And I found that when you did that, others didn't know how they could help you. And so I had to be very transparent when it was a time that I needed help. I didn't know this, I didn't know that. I didn't even know what my next step would be, because I was so lost in what my purpose was. And so to go to someone and say, and I think when I first started with Jalyn, I was like, I don't even know, what excites me anymore. I don't know what makes me happy anymore. And so of course she had a test for this and a test for that. And then we got the results back and I was like, oh yeah, I do like that. Oh yeah, I do like that. And and we were really able to start figuring it out. And what I'll tell you guys is, I had no desire whatsoever to start Women on the Rise. I had no desire whatsoever to start a nonprofit organization. It was purpose calling, right? Mm-hmm. And what I'll even tell you above and beyond that is, sometimes even when purpose calls, it makes no sense, because I'm like, well, how is this going to get paid for? And why am I having to take out $10,000 from my savings to get this started? There was so many different things that led me to question myself. And then you might have others who don't want to see you do that. And so when you have negativity around you, it also starts to deter you from moving forward. So you have to be laser focused on what those goals are and tune everything out. And a coach really, really helps you to do that. So that's another plug for the coaches as well. Let's see here. I see, fellow diva, Faith Joyner. Yes. Yes, we love us some Faith. And yes. And Faith also is part of a coaching program, I remember as well, too. And her and I have spoken a lot about that. And I will tell you, too, even if you have an accountability partner, honey, you still need a coach. Mm-hmm. You need someone who has actually invested time on how to lead others, how to put structure in place, and how to help you to meet those goals. Would you agree, or would you add anything to that, Jalyn?
Yeah, I'm sorry. First, I just need to acknowledge that, like, Faith, like, in my mind, you and I are like best friends. And Faith doesn't know she's my coach, but she is.
She's mine too.
But yeah, as it pertains to what you're looking for there, that is exactly what you need. And I cannot stress this enough. The more simple it is, the more clear things are going to be, and the easier it's going to be for you to take action. If you're seeing a whole lot of bells and whistles and a lot of different strategies to try to convince you to operate one particular way, you're only going to be successful when you operate according to your values and your strengths. And the coach that you have in your life is going to be able to pull that out of you, simplify the process, and give you the vision and direction that you need so you can move forward.
Absolutely. Hi. And I see Miss Miriam joined the call as well too. Hi, Miss Miriam. Miss Miriam is one of our historians for Women on the Rise too. So I definitely have to give her a shout out there. She does amazing photography. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to consider when you're trying to really get moving on the goals that you have. And I think, not all of us are able to go and hire an employee to go in and help us with all the tasks for our business. So we're finding ourselves as small business owners, of course, having to juggle a lot of different hats, and it can seem extremely overwhelming. You don't have a person to go and write your mission statement or to write your business plan or to do this and do that. So you have to do it, and you have to map out a plan as to how it's going to happen. And again, that structure piece is key. And like Jalyn said, keeping it simple. And I also saw Teresa was on here earlier, and Teresa and I have worked together in coaching as well too. And she's amazing, I'll say also. And I remember her making a point, because I would always complicate things. And she's like, Arlene, Just draw a straight line. Like, you don't need to go this way and go that way. Like, just keep it simple, right? I'm like, okay. You're right. And so it's really key to have someone who could can reel you back in when you need that. Yes. And then let's see. Okay, so Dr. Katia, let me go ahead and add this comment in here. Let's see what she's saying. She's saying, I feel having a coach also shows how serious you are about whatever your need is, or whatever you need the coach for, because of the financial investment you have to make towards that coach of choice. Jalyn, answer that one for me as well, or speak on that, because I'm sure sometimes you have people who have given the money and may not have been as serious about accomplishing the goals, right? So let's talk about that too.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic there. Some people, such as myself, when I put my money on something,
that part
for a return on investment there. But that also is just, my belief system. And I explained to you earlier, being a good steward of my resources, that's what drives that. But yeah, there are people who invest the money and put the money down, but they're not serious about actually moving forward. But you know what? That is okay, because even that is a lesson for yourself. If you do something and then you don't follow through on it because you weren't ready, that in of itself is a lesson. And before you put any more money down, I think you need to stop for a moment and see what that's teaching you about yourself, and think through finding someone who can really resonate, connect with you to push you forward and drive you forward there. Every coach isn't for everybody. I think that's true. Mind as well. Sometimes people make that financial investment and they don't continue because that coach just isn't for them. So there could be a number of reasons as to why that happens. But whatever it is, take a look at what that lesson is teaching you so that you can adjust yourself accordingly. But absolutely. You put your money down. I don't understand why.
Absolutely. And I'm really big about that as well too. I'm not a fluff person. So I just want, like you said, the structure, like just getting down to the nuts and bolts of what it is that I'm trying to get done. Like, how am I supposed to do this? That's how I operate as well too. And I think we have a little bit of that similarity. And so that was also a great reason why we were able to work so well together. What do you think for a person to be truly successful utilizing or leveraging coaching? How many times do you think they need to meet with their coach?
It depends on the goal. It depends on how much work they've done so far. But I would say at a minimum, 8 sessions with a coach is what you need to not only take the time to get clarity on your goals, but to get into the habit of executing and following through on that framework on a regular basis. I mean, you shared the story about how I asked you to write out, what your company was about. And then the next few weeks, we focused on just practicing that again and again and again. And so coaching, whether it's business coaching or life coaching, isn't any different than sports coaching in terms of there's a set time that you do things and then you practice, until you're executing flawlessly. So normally what I've seen is that it takes at least 8 sessions to really start to see a transformation and maintain that transformation.
And another thing too, I remember, some people, they want to wait till they have all of these things together before they go and start working with a coach. And I remember for me, it was, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, so I need a coach. Like, I was just lost in thought. I was lost in structure. And so to me, it made sense to go ahead and hire a coach who could help me to figure out what was going on. And I already had a therapist too. And that's something that people have to recognize. There's a difference between having a therapist and having a coach. And sometimes you need both of them. Okay. So there's that. We got to make sure we point that piece out. Yes. And so I was doing both of them at the same time when we first started. But recognizing that you don't have to have everything perfect and laid out. Like, okay, I know I'm going to need to work on this. I'm going to need to work. You don't need to have all of that together, right?
Absolutely. No, that's the whole point of working with the coach, someone who can help you identify exactly what you need to do. I mean, think about Michael Jordan when he started playing basketball. I don't know if everyone knows his story, but he didn't know what he was doing. And he went and got a coach to help hone and refine his skills to the point where he reached the level of excellence that he desired. You definitely don't want to wait until you think you have everything figured out. You can always go further with together with someone else, and so leveraging that support it is only going to benefit yourself, and doing it sooner rather than later helps you move faster.
Love it, love it, love it. And also, let's talk about the community of coaches as well. I have noticed over the years that you've developed some great friendships with other coaches locally. How is that? Because as opposed to a spirit of competition, there's like this support. And I would love for you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that and I don't know if it's just coincidence, but the coaches that I happen to have relationships with, we're all about there's more than enough room for everyone. And as we have said previously, every coach isn't for you. So we need a variety of coaches. We need diversity in coaching. To serve their needs. And for example, you needed me for career, you needed someone else for life. And that's perfectly okay. When we stay in our lanes and we do what we're gifted and called to do, then the right clients come to us anyway. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And let's see, Faith said that's a great example, Jalyn, that you gave. I think she's talking about the Michael Jordan example. And then she said, and yes, Arlene, depending on what you're going through, you need both. Let me put it on the screen. You need both a therapist and a coach. And you know who says that so often? Colleen Otero. It's like, honey, no. You need to go back. You need to go ahead and get the therapist first. I love it.
You're not ready for coaching yet.
Yes, because you have to get out of your own way to be able to take in what you're getting from your coach and to really being able to put forth some effort. And so that's really key, because oftentimes we'll get in our heads and we're not putting pen to paper. We're not really working on the goals that we've discussed with our coach. And so it's really important that you figure out what is holding you back, right? And so sometimes that's why it's really key to go ahead and get that therapist on board. So definitely love that. And Faith Joyner is one of my favorite therapists. I know when I speak to her, I'm like, hey, how are you? What's going on with you? I have to give her 5 to 10 minutes first to go on with that. And then I have to be like, okay, now girl, let me tell you what happened today. But that's my friend. I can do that. So, oh goodness. So you guys know at some point my son always has to make his debut. And so he's right here in front of me doing that. Yes. And I'll say too, for me, today was my son's first day back to daycare. And I'm not sure how everyone is feeling with everything opening back up and kids going back to school and daycare. But that's another thing that some of us might need to be coached through, because that is, it's a pretty stressful thing right now. With your family, Jalyn, how have you all been able to manage through COVID-19 and been able to still, hold together the family, the jobs, the careers, and then also your business as well?
Yeah, it has certainly been the best of times and worst of times in terms of how this pandemic has impacted our family and us trying to juggle our careers. I mean, Cornell and I often have to have conversations about how we manage our careers, how we plan out our week to make sure that we are taking care of our son, but also making, strong moves with our careers. We both have so much going on that it does take those honest conversations to figure out what does it look like to share these responsibilities and also support each other as we're moving forward with our goals and our dreams. And I will be honest, you know, us having our mother here to help has definitely been a godsend. I mean, and I planned this before the pandemic happened. As soon as I got pregnant, I called my mom and I said, hey, listen, you're going to move in. Yes. and you're going to help, because I knew that that at the point Cornell and I were at with our careers, we were going to need that additional support in order to really move forward. So support systems are critical. It definitely takes a village. There is no person other than Arlene that I know who is capable of making it all. Arlene's the only one that I know. She's drinking that special sauce. I don't know what she's got in her life. She's crushing it. But I definitely have had to leverage that support. And for someone who's used to being independent and not really relying on anyone else, it certainly humbled me from a different perspective in life. And that I could actually seek out other support. And yeah, for me at that time, it actually means getting a coach for some of the different things that I'm doing in my career as well. Hi, Evan. Oh, that's my favorite. You guys know this is my birthday twin. He's so great because he was born on February 7th, such as myself. But yeah, it does take a lot. It's not easy, but it's possible.
You see, I'm trying to hide the little one. He's trying to come into the screen. Okay, hold on. Go get Uncle for me, okay? Go get Uncle. He came to tattle. And Uncle's supposed to be watching him, so Uncle's not doing his job either. So I need to talk to Uncle. Uncle is 17. Okay, so we still discipline and all of that good stuff over here. And for now, oh my God, tell Uncle to come here right now. Go.
Uncle say no.
Tell Uncle to come here. He'll come. Go tell him.
Uncle, come here.
No, you go over there and go tell him that.
Well, it's a matter of time before my son is doing the same thing.
Listen, Kendra said, good stuff, ladies. And Faith said, a village is needed big time. And then, listen, Cornell Butch came on and said, I'm married to Superwoman, honey. That is your boo thing right there, honey. And then let's see, Kendra, Evan is super quick.
He is.
He really is. And then let's see, Dr. Katia, she put the little laughing, happy emojis. And you know exactly what I'm going through. She has her little ones as well, too. No joke. Hello, Juanita. Yes. Well, I must say, I am so thankful for everyone that has tuned in today. Hold on one second, you guys. I am so sorry.
You see how she keeps a smile on her face? I love it.
One job. So either way, you guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in for this DEEVA Chat. Jalyn, is there anything else that you would like to share in closing with all of those who are viewing this live session and even who are going to come on afterwards and watch later on? Is there anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think that it's just important for everyone who's watching to remember that the world needs what you have to offer. And I know that life may seem overwhelming sometimes, but what you have, your unique talents and gifts, we need it. The world needs that. And so whatever you need to do, if it's getting a coach, if it's getting an accountability partner, if it's going to therapy, if it is taking a walk in the morning to just clear your head and start your day, think about what you need to do in order to live a fulfilling and meaningful life, because the world will be blessed once you're ready. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we also have another comment here from a fellow diva, Bridget. She says, a village helps. I remember going through cancer. And if I did not have my family and friends for support, I don't think I could have done it all by myself. Our village is so, so extremely important. And sometimes the village may not be family.
Right.
It may be friends, and sometimes maybe even joining a group or an organization where you can make new friendships with similar interests or in similar situations, so that you guys can support each other in ways that you need. And Angela says, "I love the scolding with a smile." Listen, that's how we have to do it here, right?
Perfect.
And Faith, she left a comment saying, wonderful chat, divas. Thank you, Diva. Well, again, you guys, this was we're getting right on time at our 45 minutes. So, of course, with Jalyn, we had to be structured and had to make sure that we started and ended on time, right? So that's the only way that we could do it.
Time over here.
Yes, but again, you guys, if you are interested in seeking out a coach, be sure to follow Jalyn on her social media pages, and you can also reach out to her. Jalyn, can you share what those links are and how people can reach out to you?
Definitely. So I am Jalyn Isley, Success Coach on both Facebook and Instagram. You can follow me there. And then you can always go to jalynisley.com and see my services and book any session or service that speaks to your need at this time. So looking forward to connecting with you all and seeing what you can accomplish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you all have a fabulous rest of your week. We'll be coming to you soon with our next Diva Chat. But until then, have a good week and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. All right.